did you guys already know from the beginning you were going to go and open up multiple locations with this brand?
Yeah, like I said, when you got people coming in from, North Miami to make a day out of it.
That's when you knew you guys
got
had
something special, yeah.
This is going to be a very exciting conversation for me. So I knew years ago when I first opened up the cafe, so many people was like, you and Adam need to get together. I think one of the first person that was saying it was Paula, Annie Pearl.
Oh yeah.
I think she used to get Paula the donut. She used to get the donuts from you for her donut bread pudding.
Yeah, absolutely. Shout out Paula, Annie Pearl. She now is with the Cakes Etc.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. She was, I've appreciated her hustle. I had such a business crush on her since I met her. She would come in and get our donuts for her bread puddings.
Yep. I think top 3, and I don't know the other 2.
Oh, bread pudding. There was no other.
Yeah,
for me.
So her bread pudding is next level.
I appreciated her hustle. It just started out of the kitchen, pop up wherever.
Yep.
Using Facebook and social media for her reach, and she'd be like, you know what, I'm down on, I'm down over here.
And she used to always tell me, you and Adam need to get together. And they're just different people that used to always come around me would always say, you and Adam need to get, and I just, hustling and running around, I never had a chance to. And then the other day, sitting with, my brand, I don't know, Kitty London. She was like, oh, cause I'm like, yeah, we're interviewing people. Like we're full blast now. We're running the show. And she was like, Adam, you and Adam will have a good conversation.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, yes. Because I remember you had a location in Broward.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, I said, I'm going to leave the rest. I'll speak to him about the whole process. But I want you to go a little earlier, man. I want you to go from the beginning. Born and raised where?
Yeah, so I was born and raised here in West Palm Beach, in Wellington. My parents still live in the same house that I grew up in. Went to Wellington Elementary Landings, graduated Wellington High in 1999. Did college in Orlando.
Okay.
And, got into contact with my girlfriend at that time, who's now my wife. We moved to
smart lady.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But so were you raised with both parents, mom and dad?
Yes.
Mom and dad living in Wellington. What was that life? So when I first moved here, I moved to Wellington, but I lived in the Polo Club.
Okay.
Because my godfather was, and he dealt with the equestrians. He had a lot of contracts. He was an investment banker. Mm-hmm. And it was a different lifestyle for me, dealing with me being this, this kid raised in the hood in Connecticut. There is a hood in Connecticut, so that people don't try me right now. Yeah. It's definitely a hood in Connecticut. Don't be fooled. Bridgeport, Connecticut. And it was crazy how when I first got here, everything was about horses. Like the community was just wealthy. And I just never felt connected with Wellington. But after that, I realized everywhere in Wellington is not the Polo Club.
Not at all.
It's not, and really locals hate season.
Yeah. It brings crazy traffic in there. I was working in the service industry, so season was something that you look forward to. It's when your money comes into your neighborhood.
Around what time you started working on service?
Oh man. So I one of my first jobs was in a restaurant called Scotch and Sirloin, which ended up turning into the Hall of Fame, which is where I met my wife.
Right.
Her father opened up that store with my father in 97.
Her father, your father, opened up a store together.
Yes,
in absolutely. 97.
Mm-hmm. So
this was already meant to be.
It must have been. Yeah, man. So that's where I met my wife. We kind of went off in different directions. She went to the military. I went to college. After my college career was done.
What did you study in school?
So I went to UCF. I graduated with. I studied marketing and finance.
Okay.
Really took a knack for marketing. That was
just the thing.
Yeah. I just tried to learn a couple numbers with finance, but marketing was where it was at for me.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So what was it in marketing that really attracted you to it even more?
It was business. You're nothing in your business without how you market. You know, if me it was, you know, it's like, how am I going to grow this thing? How am I going to do this? You know, it's marketing is key, is the only key to your business and growth.
So when you were working for your now father-in-law and your father, that's where you first started off in service.
Yes.
So was that a thing like where, was your father an entrepreneur just from the beginning, like, or from what you know?
So my dad was an attorney for many years, with the Army. He was JAG attorney, opened up his own law firm in Royal Palm. He was out in the Western communities for forever, since the late 70s. Recently retired, you know, in the course of, you know, past 5 years. Yeah.
So him doing this business with your now father-in-law, was it an idea like they had for them, like just to like why did they go and do this? Like, it's just,
well, you know, Don, my father-in-law was looking to, you know, do something on his own. He was the executive chef for a Wilt Chamberlain's down in Boca. I'm not sure if you remember that place, but it was an incredible restaurant. You know, it had a massive game room, indoor basketball court, great place for kids. And they had phenomenal food. So, you know, he was the executive chef. It was his menu. It was time to go on his own now. So he lived in the Western communities out in the acreage, and you know, opened up this spot. This was his baby, essentially.
Around what age were you around that time when they got into?
I was 16, 17.
Well, you had no choice probably to get this job over here. Your father was like,
go in there and learn.
Go in there and learn, figure it out.
So it was good.
Did you fall in love with food and beverage right there and then, or?
I think that's when, yeah. I mean, you know, you talk about people that are in the service industry. It's, you know, they're just a little off. There's something that really draws them in. And, you know, restaurants it's a community. It is, man. It's something that you really just can't let go out of your life.
Trust me, I deal with it every day.
Yeah.
And try to find out how I could escape it. But so you started in there, and then were you and your girlfriend already dating back then, or?
No. We weren't. We had met each other. She was a couple grades behind me.
Okay.
Freshman, I was a junior.
So you're the cool guy.
I don't know if I was a cool guy.
In your mind. If you don't know that, nobody knew.
In her, I was a lot cooler than I really was, I guess. But, you know, she took a liking to me. We worked together, and then, you know, we just kind of let it go from there. Yeah.
So then after your service through the whole process, from the whole high school, from junior year and out, you stayed in service?
I did,
in the service industry?
I did, yeah.
So when you went out to college in UCF?
I did go to UCF, yes.
So when you went to UCF, did you still work in service?
I did. I worked at an incredible steakhouse off International Drive, one of the top 10 chop houses in America, under the Talk of the Town restaurants group. It was called Vito's Chop House, which just recently reopened. Shout out to Vito's.
How was that experience working over there?
It was great, man. You know, it was also seasonal. So something I was used to. You know, the convention business down there was absolutely insane in the early 2000s. So, you know, you'd have 100,000 people coming into town for a week. They want to eat and drink on the same, strip as where they're staying. So, you know, Vito's was a popular choice. And what it did teach me was working with a team, working with customers, really knowing, you know, the difference between this customer and that customer. You know, because we had wine bottles that would sell from $40 to $2,500 on that menu.
Wow.
So, you know, knowing your product, knowing your people, taught me a lot.
Communication was big.
Very much so. You know, still things that I use till this day.
Wow. So working with Vito's, did you move up in the company, or you just stayed in the server?
I was a server. You know, my focus was going to school. I couldn't deviate from that, you know, moving up with a company and, you know, taking my focus off what I was really there to do.
So why not law? If you saw your father, you know.
So law, yeah.
You've been hearing this for a long time.
I don't know, man. You know, the people are built for things. You know, my dad was built for rules and structure, and you know, it's something that I wanted to do. I would have loved to. It's just something that wasn't ingrained in me.
So did he enjoy it? Like he enjoyed practicing law, or he just knew he had to get it done?
He loved it. You know, there were times when I asked my dad, I'm like, "Do you like what you do?" And he's like, "You know, I haven't liked what I have done for quite a while." But you know, it's it's something. There's a difference between love and like.
Yeah, 100%.
100%. You know, and so he loved doing it, and it turned out to be a great career for him. He was very successful. But
nothing attracted you like, ooh, I can't wait to take this on.
To me, he was in real estate. Okay. And did the law for the real estate, and forever he and my mother were like, these are some of the most boring people you'll ever meet in your entire life. Right. And I got, they say, I think they just saw something different in me.
Right. And speaking of mom, how was mom growing up in that process, man? Like,
she was great.
Just a supportive mom.
Very.
Always into knuckle. Do you have any brothers and sisters?
I do. I have a brother and a sister, both older.
Both older.
Actually, my sister is in law. My brother is.
She fell for the law trade.
She did. Yeah, she did. So my brother is a CPA.
Okay.
And I, chose to work for myself.
Chose for the other world. So after that, so your inspiration for working in the industry of food and beverage, really from just starting where your father bought into a business, your now wife's father, you had the opportunity your parents basically had a relationship. You fell into it. Fell in love with just the culture, because food and beverage is definitely a whole culture. It's a community.
Very much so. Everybody
hang out with each other before work, after work. People get married. Like, it's literally a culture in food and beverage. So after you're done with school, did you move back into town or?
So no, my wife, we had linked up on MySpace. This will tell you how old we are.
Definitely old. I'm not Adam. You're old.
We'll tell you how old I am. So, we got into contact shortly after I graduated. She was in the military in Charleston, South Carolina, in the Air Force. So
you're still in Orlando then?
I'm still in Orlando at this point, just trying to figure out what I'm going to do with myself. Freshly graduated. So she comes down, one weekend, we're chit chatting. We're just like, why don't you just move up here? I'm like, there's nothing holding me here. I can go and transplant myself anywhere. Let's do this.
Did you guys already started dating, or you guys just started talking again?
We did. Yeah, we started dating again. So, just like that. It was, I could do what I'm doing here. I can do what I'm doing there.
You're attached to.
Yeah. So, we we lived in Charleston, South Carolina. Great place. Mm-hmm. Beautiful ecosystem for restaurants and food and tourism. Phenomenal city.
Definitely.
A place I would love to go back. I don't think we appreciated it while we were knuckleheads in a first year of a relationship / marriage. But that's where we ended up. How long
you stayed in Charleston for?
I was there for close to 2 years. She was there for the better portion of 6, I believe.
So before you got there, she was already there in that community.
She was.
So then what made you guys decide to go back? Move back home.
So we have both of our families here. Both in Wellington. Her father had a few restaurants out in the acreage at this point. So we said, we can go down there. We can look for some jobs. We have these restaurants we could work in while we're, looking to see what we can do for our careers. And, both her and I ended up, kind of stepping in and taking over these restaurants.
Oh, taking over the family for her father.
Yes.
So did she want to work in food and beverage, or
she didn't? No, forever she's been trying to get out of it.
Of course, because her family was.
So she started college while in the military, transferred to FAU. So she was graduating 2012, late 2012. We were trying to figure out something to do for her. And this is when our partner in Jupiter approached us. He was selling groceries for Cheney Brothers, trying to figure out something to do on his own.
A partner in Jupiter, that's another restaurant that you guys had in the family?
Yes. Yeah. I'm kind of jumping forward.
No, I'm good.
So, he was trying to figure out something to do. We were trying to figure out something to do for my wife, Crystal. And it kind of just, made sense that we.
So how many restaurants the family had around that time?
So there were 3 in the acreage, 1 sports bar, 1 Italian / pizza, and 1 American, steakhouse, seafood.
Yeah. So you guys came back home, worked in the family's restaurant. Did you guys want to keep on building those out? Did you want to open up more, or just sustain what you guys had?
We didn't. We kind of knew that we wanted to be out of the restaurant business per se, restaurant bar business.
Yeah.
And do something else.
What was the pros and cons on the Go with cons first.
Cons.
A lot of people don't understand when you own a bar, the pain behind that.
So the cons, the number one is if you're not going to be a owner operator and there all the time, people are going to rob you blind.
Yep, definitely.
First and foremost. So, you need to be there all the time, watching things, seeing what comes in, seeing what goes out, seeing if it was all accounted for. Secondly, it's just...
And that's in a bar and food.
That's in a bar and food, yeah. So we were full service at that point. I mean, we were open from 7 o'clock in the morning until...
Wow. Around what time was that? Was that pandemic time? Was that the...
It was pre-pandemic time. That was economic downturn. That was... We moved back late 2009.
Okay.
And 2010, 2011 were quite rough. Quite rough.
Yeah.
The housing market crashed.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Not even this new print.
So we're
recession area.
So where we were placed, where we had these restaurants, it was, heavy on the service industry, heavy on, construction.
Right.
And when, we're not building, these people don't have work.
They have no money.
They got no money.
Can't come spend it.
And when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad.
100%.
So, it was a few rough years where we had to, kind of
figure it out.
Yeah, very much so. See what needed to get paid first.
Right. I've been there. I know what you're talking about. So then after that, how long did you guys keep them open for?
So we had sold those restaurants. We were getting them quite prepped up when we got into the donut business. We bought the original Jupiter Donuts in September of 2013.
So let's go so I want to catch this and I might want to retract this. So you guys purchased Jupiter Donut while the restaurants were still going. So you had multiple things going on.
Yes.
So how did you get to the purchase of Jupiter Donut?
So this is where our partner Chris comes in. We were buying groceries from him from Cheney Brothers for the restaurants. We'd known him for forever.
Okay.
Back in the Hall of Fame days. So he wants to do something for himself. Kind of sees his job as a rep for these rep selling groceries, kind of come and doing that. So he's like, I gotta get back into business. He had a restaurant when he had graduated college, wanted to do it again. So he's like, why don't we open up a pizza joint? We're like, we're actively trying to sell a pizza joint right now. Let's figure something else out. He's like, what do you know about donuts? I'm like, we have no idea, no clue, but I guess we could figure out
donuts.
He's like, there's this crazy donut shop on my route in Jupiter. He's like, I'm going to go up in there and ask them if
they want to sell,
if they'll train me. We'll open one down the street. So he literally goes in there and talks to the owners. He's like, yo, listen, I want to see if you guys want to train me. I'm going to open up one down the street. They're like, yeah, go on in. Unheard of,
the community, man.
Unheard of. So he's working his Cheney job during the day, going in there and making donuts at night. I don't know where he had time for anything else.
Right.
So he was doing that for about 3 months. And they're like, why don't you just buy this place? So he comes back to my father-in-law at that point. He's like, listen, they want to sell this place. And then the cost kept going up.
Whoa, what a coincidence.
Yeah. So we needed to act quick. And that's, we figured it would only work if, my wife Crystal would go in there and partner as well. Just to keep it all in the family, really.
Of course.
That's where it was born, man.
So you guys then get Jupiter Donuts. What was their brand? Was it already? Because you're still purchasing and you're selling the other one. So let's talk about that.
Okay.
Because how was the family around that time? You guys want to get rid of other restaurants. Now you guys want to buy more. So is that where you realize we're going to stay in this business? Like we're going to stay in the food and beverage business?
100%. Yeah. It's a little different. The full service is quite different than, quick service.
Facts.
In the donut shops, you have relatively happy people coming
100%.
in day in and day out, and they're there for 5 minutes. They want to come in, talk with the counter staff a little bit, see what's going on. We see the same people 4 or 5 times a week.
Absolutely.
So they get their coffee, they get their donut, breakfast sandwich, and they're out, 3 to 5 minutes. Quite different from somebody coming in, to the bar who
is depressed,
who
having a hard day.
Who has a hard or a good day, after a couple cocktails, the day comes, is much harder than it was.
It's a little different.
Yeah, it's a little different, so it was pleasant for us. We enjoyed it. I still enjoy
So
it.
was it? So this Jupiter location, I don't know where. I didn't even know you guys even had a location. The story is working out for me because I'm now learning about how this whole thing came about. Because I literally had an argument with someone. This is crazy. I hope he don't watch this. I feel so stupid. He literally was. I was like, no, the guy came up with the donut concept because it's literally out of this world. Jupiter donut, like he. No, so the name was.
So yeah, so here's where it is. So we bought the original spot, which is Jupiter Donut Factory, still named that to this day. We figured we had something real special when people were making a day out of it on Saturday, coming from North Miami, and unheard of, really.
Wow.
To me, I don't know. Pastries aren't that special to me. So, at that point, we were like, we need to open one up closer to where we were living, Royal Palm Beach. So we opened up the Jupiter Donut Factory, Royal Palm Beach, off of Royal Palm Beach Boulevard and Okeechobee. All right.
I know there was one there either. My gosh.
Yeah.
You're like you're a bad guy, Adam. You're putting donuts everywhere.
So then comes North Palm, right? And which is still
Royal Palm is home for you. So putting something there.
Yeah, at that point
sense.
we were still living out in Royal Palm. We were living in La Mancha. This location was 5 minutes down the street.
So when you purchased the business from them, were they still operating?
Yes. Yeah. So it was in a transitional stage. The owner, Carrie, had stayed on for a couple months, just to transition the new staff. And they moved out, I believe, to Oregon and opened up another one themselves. So, good people.
Great spot. For that.
Absolutely.
I love Portland, Oregon.
So at this point, we're working on our third store, late 2015. My wife comes up with this brand. We need to brand this thing if we're going to take it, to the next level. So she comes up with the design, comes up with the out of this world, design the box. From there on, all the locations are Jupiter Donuts with a intergalactic.
Yeah.
So yeah. So credit my wife, Crystal.
I definitely think it was you, Adam. Don't worry about it. I definitely knew it was Crystal from the beginning.
Absolutely.
No. So what was the did you guys already know from the beginning you're gonna go and open up multiple locations with this brand?
Yeah, like I said, when you got people coming in from North Miami to make a day out of it,
that's when you knew you guys
got
had
something special. Yeah, you got.
Was it did you guys from the beginning? Was it always all the different donut concepts, like all the different ones you guys have now?
Yeah, absolutely. Listen, Jupiter, the location in Jupiter on Center Street, has changed very little since day one. Flavor wise. Decor, it's all it's still the same feel. Very hole in the wall. It's what people enjoy.
Is it now more locals come in there because you guys have multiple locations in those areas?
Always,
or are people still traveling all the way from?
No. We've opened up all over the place.
How many locations you guys have now
in the company? We've got 7.
7. Look, where are the locations?
So the original OG is the Center Street. In Jupiter Donut Factory. We also have the one in Royal Palm, our North Palm location. We have one in Stewart in Martin County. Then came Boynton, which we opened up on a National Donut Day. Since then, we've opened in Oakland Park.
Yep, I remember that. Is that still there?
It is not there. We have since closed that location. That's not one I was involved with. We've also opened a Boca location, which has since closed as well.
Okay.
Which we closed on April 1st of 2020.
Pandemic kind of affected.
Pandemic.
Most definitely affected.
And there's one location out in Largo. On the west coast of Florida.
On the west coast. Oh.
Pinellas County.
How now are you actually covering all those markets, literally travel to those markets, or you have your systems already down packed where you is really run? It's a machine now at this point.
Yeah, it's a machine. Our Largo location is owned and operated by our cousin Jimmy.
Okay, cousin Jimmy got one.
He's got one out there. He's doing very well. It's a lovely location. Very busy, and he's doing real well.
So basically, you took the business, you bought it from the relationship. However, the relationship happened, you end up buying the location. Did you guys ever been in there like build your own system, or you added? How did that process happen?
So, once you, we also have one more location, Lantana, which is the most recent.
Okay.
So that would be the last one. As far as systems, you open these up, the same building process, scoping the locations out. It's, what you're looking for. We're looking for a certain, square footage. We've got a certain amount of equipment
that already. So you already have that scale. You already know the system.
All that is all set in place. Yes. How many employees you're going to need, different shifts.
How long did it take you to get to that process to understand those systems and see what's working, what's not,
Oh man. We would say we're probably still working on it. Mm-hmm. Some of the later locations that have since closed, the store's twice the size of some of the well-oiled machines that we do have.
Right.
We were kind of just going for something else too. We were trying to grow, trying to have a template for franchising.
Right. Did you know that already from the beginning? Like you wanted to build this model to?
Not since the beginning. No, I would say that was once the branding started happening.
Right.
We figured that we could probably open these up elsewhere. But that's a whole nother animal, man.
Are you still enjoying this?
I do. Yes, absolutely. There is things that I do enjoy, more so than I don't. Mm-hmm.
Like what? What are those things?
Being in multiple locations at the same time is an issue for me.
Of course. You're still
it's
one
impossible.
person.
Yeah, it's impossible. I still really enjoy and long for the human interaction.
Of course.
Something that we're, as a growing world and scaling towards internet and all these things that, interacting with people, real people is something that,
still a real thing.
Yeah, exactly. So, I still enjoy seeing the smile on kids' faces.
Of course.
That always does it for me. I still enjoy seeing people who may or may not be in a good mood come in and, immediately
take that first bite.
Exactly. Immediately have a,
right.
a better day.
Right.
So, yeah. A lot of it, I still enjoy, problem solving. Problem solving has always been, a motivational thing for me. When you have an issue and you go in, you solve it immediately.
So you're still enjoying the business side of it all, the entrepreneurial side of it.
Absolutely.
So is this something that one day you guys want to sell? You guys want to build and sell one day or?
Most likely.
Most likely. Right now, you guys are still building the company, the infrastructure of the company.
Yes. And, we have partners that are, or at least I have partners that are in different stages of their business career. So yeah, I think that would be, ideal.
Is there any other communities or any place you want to open up? Like you're looking at where is matching what the brand look for when they're building something?
I've always wanted to tackle the Orlando market. Always.
And you're familiar with that community also?
Very much so, yes.
Yeah.
It's always been, something that I wanted to focus on. But, I have a child in school that I'm not willing to uproot.
Right. These guys are killing me. They want you to get closer to the mic, Adam. They want you to, we see you guys. You guys don't have to get loud. They went bigger font to let us know.
They're encouraging me.
Yeah, they're encouraging you. You see that encouragement?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. Thank you.
That's production in the back. They seem like they're getting a little antsy with us. Sorry, guys. I apologize. Oh, thanks for the smiley face. We appreciate you guys. So how old's your child?
She's 10. Yeah, I got a 10-year-old daughter. Last day of school today. She goes to the Benjamin School right down the street.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah, she's a good kid, man.
So you're, because if you go down to Orlando, you have to spend more time in Orlando building that out.
Yes.
So she's not having that. It's not a thing. For
I don't think any of us are having that. Yeah.
I think Orlando would take off crazy.
I think so.
Yeah. Yes. Tourists. There's a lot of pros definitely in Orlando. That's crazy. So for you as a businessman, you're picking family first.
Yes.
Speak on that, the importance of doing that.
Well, you never know when you're not going to have them around, really. August 10th, 2020, I had a blood clot and died at my house when
Real life.
When
Real life
luckily
happened.
my wife was there when normally she wouldn't have been. So, you know,
So that kind of changes your perspective on just overall everything after that.
100%. Yeah. I mean, you don't come back from death. You don't cheat death.
I've been through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've had, I've been through a lot of experience like that I played with death a couple times.
Yeah.
And it was like, let me just look at things a little differently.
Yeah.
And one time was a health scare also. I think my sugar was at like 750.
Oh, wow.
So the doctor was like, there's no way you're still living.
Right.
Like the craziest that I think they've seen was like 300-400. I was like 7. They was like, no, you're dead. Like you're literally laying here dead. And we're just freaked me out. I didn't even know it was that crazy. So I know that experience. And it actually definitely, my perspective on things was totally different.
Oh, yeah.
You know, but most, you know, I can't say most, but a lot of people chooses business before, because they believe their responsibility to take care of their family is important, but you're not focusing on taking care of them literally right now. You're chasing the money. And I've dealt with that in so many ways, where I'm thinking make money to take care of my family, not spend time with my family and take care of my family.
Yeah.
You know, it's always like, what if it changes tomorrow? What if it changes tomorrow? So you picking that, I think that's commendable. I think any man that could do that.
Well, you know, I mean, what's the point of making it if, you know,
Can't enjoy it.
if you can't enjoy it?
Yeah.
You know, you could make and save it for the rest of your life and you can, you know.
Right. Do you think she would want to go in business in the food beverage or?
My daughter?
Yeah.
Right now she would love it. Right now she would love it. You know, it's not necessarily something that my wife and I are holding a legacy for,
Right,
you know.
Right.
We would like her to do something else, but you know, I mean, can't tell somebody what to do.
What do you think she's enjoying right now? What do you think piques her interest? You think she likes being around in the business? Could you see that in her now?
Yeah, absolutely. She loves it. You know, she enjoys going to work with mom and dad. You know, customer interaction, working the registers.
Right.
Yeah, she enjoys it.
That's a good product. So what's next for you after, and if you decide to move another route with Jupiter Dough? Do you have anything that you're like, hey, you know what?
Yeah. I mean, you always have to have something that you could turn into passive income.
Of course, it's the game.
There's different things I've been chatting about with some friends of mine. You know, a consulting business that my wife and I have been working on.
And the food and beverage side?
On the food and beverage side, yes, absolutely.
It's definitely needed.
It is. We believe so. You know, we're approached all the time about, hey, you know, we think this will be great. You know, let's.
I knew how important it was for me because when I started the cafe, I did not know anything about. I've never even worked in food and beverage. I just wanted more for the community. And I was like, you know what? Let me put this coffee shop together. And I love the coffee culture. So Oceana was big for me to help me out a lot with coffee. I could never take that away from them.
Oh yeah, Scotty and Amy. Shout out to Oceana.
Like, you know, they definitely came in and they were probably the most, like, they helped out tremendously when it comes to coffee. But it was just so many other pieces that we had no idea about.
Oh yeah,
because food was another experience. Back office, equipment. Food and beverage is a lot more than people think in that process. So, and if you're able to, you know, get a coach, get help. Lucky I had a couple other people in my life. You know, Edna, he used to own La Fanta pizza restaurant. He was super big for me also. I could never take nothing away from him because he actually had to slow me down and really steps that I probably should have knew before I started. As far as, you know, what type of equipment do I need? I opened up a building and built out the building. I didn't even know what type of, because I thought I was just going to be coffee and pastries, but I realized the community needed more. You know, the community wanted food. Like, wait a minute. I got to now fix food. Now I got to think of recipes. Then I have to make sure the recipes are consistent. Wait a minute.
Oh, yeah.
So then I have to find the right people that could do it. So one of the things that Edna spoke to me about, he was like, it got to be made for a third grader. So when you're creating your recipe, make sure a third grader is able to do it. 1, 2, 3. So once you train them once, they can do it forever. That process alone is not a game.
It's not.
And that is the secret for behind recipes is 1, 2, 3 step that anybody can read it and do it. It doesn't have to be, you know, a lot of people when they watch a lot of these shows and a lot of these shit, they think it's like 20 this. It's really the more simple it is, the better it is at times. I'm learning with food and beverage. But the consistency of trying to memorize and write everything down, I didn't even think about that. The POS system, food and beverage is something that everybody's not ready for it, but everybody thinks it looks good, you know. And the profit margin, food, it was a disaster. So getting help and mentors, I would love to pay a consultant to help me in that process. I didn't find a lot of people in South Florida. They were in New York, they were in Atlanta, LA, but I didn't find a lot of South Florida consultants. So you guys going that route, I think is going to do super well.
I think so. You know, and just like you said, a lot of people that, you know, look at our business as being fun.
I can just open up a donut shop.
And something they can do. 99% out of the time, Absolutely. It's something they can't. Yeah. You know, they don't even know where to start. So, you know, we've learned all this stuff on the street. It's something that, you know, we're very passionate about, and you know, we believe that we can do very well.
Did you guys tour any other donuts? Like what was your process of getting to this level?
So yeah, I mean, we've been in close relations with the owners of Mojo Donuts, who have partnered with all the they're down in Miami.
Okay,
partnered with all the sports teams. They sell them at Dolphin Stadium. Great family owned and operated business. Good. Yeah, so we've partnered heavily with our food purveyor Dawn Products, who we get all our confections from. And you know, the whole team over there is fantastic. We call them for anything, you know, show us how to do this recipe. We'll have, you know, we'll have Mark, the lead baker of the company, come down and, you know,
work it out. That's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that community is still the same, you know, food and beverage, that community, but it's a donut community that you guys actually support each other.
It is. Yeah. You know, but you have to be surrounded by a great community of people that are going to, you know, bring you up in any kind of business that you're in. You know, you have to have friends and colleagues that you can bounce ideas off of. You know,
I don't know. Is this in my head? I don't know. I really believe creating something like this for, I'm going to put something on you. It just really came to me right now, literally right now. I would love to create something like this for inner city students in the schools and see if we could create some type of curriculum or something on teaching them how to build a donut business within the school. I don't know, somebody that me and you could probably try to build, because I definitely have to get back into food and beverage again. Like, I've been having an itch for a lot of years. I've literally designed about 15 concepts, just waiting to actually execute them. But I also know my strength now in food and beverage. I know is the marketing side. I know is the branding side. I know like what I do every day. That's where I'm strong in. I don't really want to do operation management because I can't do the same thing every day.
Of course.
Like that was one of the most difficult part about developing a food and beverage, a cafe, where literally we're eating the same thing every day. So you're telling me we're going to make the same coffee, the same sauce. That's what people want.
Oh yeah.
I'm not good. Like, you got it. Like, I create. So for me to do the same thing was definitely something I want to, but I really think it's two things. One, I would love to see how we could build something. I truly, something in my spirit just really telling me I think we could do something. I don't know how difficult a process is to build donuts. You know, I don't know. But if this is there an opportunity for us to build like a small model that we could implement in the school system that could teach kids entrepreneurship and actually have them do it themselves?
Maybe not donuts, but the entrepreneurial program for children.
You took my donuts idea away. I really was going for donuts in the school.
Kids need to know that they can, you know, do something on their own.
Yes.
You know, and a lot of the school system teaches them to do things for other people.
100%.
You know,
that's the culture of school.
Young kids don't have the education of doing their checkbook.
Right. There's no clue of
filing taxes.
Yeah, no clue.
You know, it's
no clue.
You go there and you do this 4-year curriculum, and then you have an opportunity to, you know, start at the lower level of some company.
But the donut process is not as easy. Like, see, like I'm thinking it's an easy process to go into it.
It's not.
So it's not as easy. Ooh.
No, it's not. And you got to be up at odd hours of the evening. You know, a lot of our business is overnight.
So you're prepping at night and you're delivering, you're executing during the day to donut. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I thought it was, see, that's why guys like me get into the donut business, thinking it's like, oh, we just fry donuts and call it a day.
No, you got to have a screw loose to do this business, man. And, you know, be up at all hours of the evening.
Yeah, I don't have
when somebody calls out at 4 o'clock in the morning.
You got to step up.
You got to be on your way.
So you're still doing stuff like this?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Day in and day out.
Ooh, I definitely, I think people are going to think that you still, with all those locations, if something is not, you now have to go and handle it.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And you still enjoy that process?
No, I don't necessarily say I enjoy that process, but it's just something, it's a life I chose.
It's something that's part of the, would you ever, you think you will ever stop being an entrepreneur? Or is that even a thing? Could people, if you're an entrepreneur, could you really ever stop being an entrepreneur?
Never. You can't.
It's a lifestyle 100%.
It's in your blood. There's, if you see somebody doing something, you're like, okay, I can do that. And I can probably do that better.
It keeps on going.
It's just something that's ingrained in you. You can't get rid of it.
Yeah, you can't get rid of it. Yeah, trust me, I know. I've tried several times. I remember someone was like, won't you just go get a job? I'm like, how? I don't even know how to function in a job. Like, I've owned for 20 years. What am I, like, what could I really, like, I think I tried to get jobs before, and it was like I was there for 6 months. I remember one time I worked at this place, Family Central. I could never forget it. I was there for like a year and a half. I was like, this is the first time I ever worked a job for like a year and a half. Yeah. I felt so like I succeeded at something. 6 months later, I was like, yeah, this is not going to work. I can't.
You just feel out of place. I mean, I think
that most definitely felt out of place.
As an entrepreneur, I think you deem yourself unhireable from day one. It's just, it's not a bad thing.
Right. It's just a real thing.
It's just, you're going to want to do this yourself.
What advice would you give entrepreneurs that's in the rut, like that's really trying to figure it out? How did you get clarity on this is exactly what you're going to do? And like, what would you tell someone that's going through that?
For somebody in a rut?
Yeah, in a rut. And that someone, like, also, how did you get to the point where you knew entrepreneurship was it for you?
Like I said, I didn't deem myself hireable or workable for anyone else, other than, the partners that I've chosen. It's, I want to create my schedule. I want to play by my rules. And I want to really kind of be the judge of how successful or unsuccessful I'm going to be.
Take control of your life.
Absolutely. And not let that be in somebody else's hands, really. For somebody in a rut, there's, as a human being, you go through different, emotions daily, hourly, by the minute. There's ways to get yourself out of a bad mood. If you wake up in a funk, go get your hair cut.
Right. Go disconnect.
And disconnecting is one thing. The gym, go get an exercise in, have a nice, decent meal, sweat a little bit, go swimming, but get a haircut, make yourself look and feel better.
Right.
But you have to disconnect. I was listening to a podcast this past weekend while I was up in Oklahoma City, in Tulsa for the
happy birthday again, Adam.
Yeah, right.
Last week.
So yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate it. I was up there watching the PGA Championship on Sunday, but I was listening to this podcast. He's like, this one dude's a pastor who was going through some, crazy, emotions and, depression and whatnot. And he's like, I always thought I had it together when I was going to the gym, but I was constantly working while he was at the gym. So what he picked up now is boxing. He's like, boxing is the only way that I can really disconnect for an hour and a half, because there's nothing else that you can focus on other than your technique and not getting hit.
Yeah.
There's zero
have to focus.
Yeah. And he's like, that's the only way that I can truly disconnect. Because there's things that you have to do if you're working for yourself. There's got to be a release somewhere. It can't be all business all the time.
Yeah. I'm learning that.
Yeah.
I'm learning that. And I thought that was just for people that's making excuses, but I realized you go that hard, you have to take some time for yourself.
You have to.
A buddy of mine just spoke to me about this. He takes 7 days. He said, do not go in a resort for 2-3 days. Take all 7 and disconnect for all 7. He said, you will never feel the same. Mm-hmm. There's no feeling like disconnecting for 7 days, literally disconnecting. No work, no anything. I'll definitely go for 3-4 days and I'm still working.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to sneak in the last double. And in my head, I'm not there. I'm literally still here at the office working. Meanwhile, I'm in vacation. I don't know. I'm still learning how to disconnect. And more and more I speak to other entrepreneurs that are super successful with what they're doing. They said that one of the secrets for them was disconnecting. That's just what they do. So
it has to happen. You know, if you don't disconnect, how beneficial can you be to what you're doing? Facts. If it's, you know what I mean? Facts. If you can't recharge, then you're running on empty.
Is there anything that you believe was the thing that kept you going other than family? Or is there someone that gave you more battery in your back when you were in your rut that?
So, yeah, you know, I think it was the people that I had around me when I was, when I woke up in the hospital 5 days after that heart attack, you know, and I say it was a heart attack, you know, a buddy of mine just reminded me, he's like, that was cardiac arrest. You were literally dead.
Wow.
For a lot longer than you should have been. You know what I mean? My cardiologist, who was on call at the hospital that same day, who revived me, he's like, dude, I've done 10,000 of these things and I've seen dead people. He's like, I cannot explain how you are alive right now. Like the guy, you know, I saw him.
It was definitely something more.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You know, I saw him about 6 months ago at a birthday party, and he's like, he was like he was looking at a ghost when he sees me. He's like, I don't understand how you're here right now. So, but yeah, you know, it was the support system. It was the people that were around me when that happened. You know, it's like they're all saying, well, I guess you got, you know, more damage to do down here because it ain't your time, you know, to be dead.
Yeah.
So yeah, that'll wake you up and you know put a fire under your butt, to say the least.
So there's another piece of it. So now this is a real one for me. I want to know how the partnership with you and your wife. How is that how's that process? Like how is that partnership? How do you guys give each other space? Like how is it working with a wife?
It's tough. It's very tough. You know, working with a family is very tough. It might not be for most. Mm-hmm. We're good at it. I think we're very good at it.
What makes you guys good at it? Like, what do you guys do? What's the secret to you guys with your success?
We fight a lot. We give each other space when we need it.
How do you guys
she's
give
my best friend.
Space when you go home?
You know, we have different rooms.
That's important.
We have different rooms in our house. But she's my best friend.
Are you taking work home?
We always do.
You have to.
Yeah. I mean, there's no way I could say till I'm blue in the face.
I hear people say it all the time. You can't leave the work home. Like, how?
We got
at work.
There's so much back office to do. It's, you know, it spills into the rest of the day.
So do you guys just work two different, like, you know, her strength, she knows your strength, and you guys both focus on what you guys are strong at?
100%. Yeah, we don't try to do what the other is good at doing.
I gotta learn how to just.
We have to complement each other somehow. You know.
So So you said most people don't. Would you recommend that for a family or?
Man, I don't know if I recommend it to anybody, really. You know, but other than family, you know, I mean, maybe families are different, but you have to work with people you trust. First and foremost, it may or may not be family.
But you have to work with people you trust.
You have to work with people that you trust.
Is there a book or anything that you read or any audiobook or anything that you've read or that you remember that was something that was so important to you that literally brought more value to you in the business or even just manhood or whatever it is that you think that you could share with someone that's going through that?
Yeah, I mean, there was the book that resonated a lot with our service was the Walt Disney book. I'm forgetting the name, but it's, you know, the processes and the culture of Disney is what you want when you're owning and operating your business. You know, I learned a lot of my techniques working at Vito's, which was in Orlando. I learned a lot from this dude, Frank Ackerman. Was, you know, you solve all problems without even asking questions. You could question it later. You got an issue? Let's make it happen right now. And then we'll talk about it later. You know?
So you talk about just interacting with back office, whatever it is.
Oh,
if
yeah.
there's something, deal with it right now, and we'll talk about it later.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, when orders get messed up, you know, I mean, we're all human. You know, things happen. A lot of people forget that. You know, they expect it to be done perfectly. I called you. You guys are the pros. You know, this is what's happening here. So, you know, whether or not it's our fault, their fault, I don't care whose fault it is. We'll fix it now. We'll talk about it later. You know?
So I ask most guests this question, Adam. Would you hire yourself? And if so, why?
Would I hire myself? Absolutely. I don't think there's anybody else I've really believed in most than myself. Me personally. I always knew that I was going to get the job done by any means necessary, on time, and, done to the best of my capabilities. If for whatever that's worth, it's worth it to me. But whether it's done by anybody else's standards, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do my best. So yeah, I think I would hire myself. I think I would be intimidated by myself hiring somebody like me. But I don't think that's a bad thing. I think anybody, if you ask that question, I would hire, they would hire themselves, but it would be intimidating. I never even thought about it. You're right. I don't know if I could do another Beethoven. It'd be tough, wouldn't it?
It'd be very tough. Because I'm super aggressive, but I'm passionate. But the consistency, I get it. And everybody's not ready for an aggressive entrepreneur also. And especially working one-on-one. Because you're like, I want to get this. Let's go. Everybody don't want to work in that tempo.
Yeah.
It's really, definitely understand where you're coming from.
Yeah. And that's something tough to get used to as well. Not 100%. Everybody's going to work like you.
No. I don't even know when to turn it off once again.
Yeah.
And I think that is something that I expect the same thing from, but I'm blessed. I have a great team. I could never take nothing away because they're slightly crazy also. I think for some reason, crazy people attract crazy people. So it's just like, we just believe in another capacity. And when you have a team that believes, it's the game changer. It
is 100% the game changer.
It is the game changer because I literally, they run this company. I definitely don't. It's not me at all. I'm just a support system, the one that buys equipment when we need it. It's just my job, but they handle everything else. But can we talk about your donuts before we leave out, Adam?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Adam brought product here today. I don't know why we let this happen. I don't know. Yeah, you got to do this. I don't want to mess up your day. But I want to just talk about what you have here so people can know Jupiter Donuts a little bit more than just your average donut spot.
So, all of our locations have a kitchen.
Okay.
So every staff,
Jesus
we don't
Christ.
make a central location and ship them. They're all made in
guys.
house.
Could you guys get this content from the cameras? I don't know if people could see it. I don't know. Jeez. So how do you guys come up with the recipes? Also.
It's recipes that we
not
have.
Even recipes, like the ideas of the donut ideas.
So a lot of them were, templates.
They want me to tilt the box. Yeah. So which camera? Right camera, I'm good. Oh, you go. Yeah, your camera probably.
So a lot of these flavors were the flavors we've been doing since day one. But we always encourage the decorators and our staff to, get creative.
So the team also get an opportunity to create.
Oh, of course. Absolutely.
Oh,
absolutely. We encourage it across the board. It breaks monotony for employees doing the same thing. They feel good when they come up with something cool. So, we let them do a lot of stuff on their own.
Is there anything that you came up with that you by yourself, or is it really the inspiration of the whole team?
I'm a more savory person. There's breakfast sandwich items and things on our other menu that I've come up with, but I leave the creative
donut thing for them.
Yeah, my wife is very creative with the decorating as well. She's passionate about it.
So you guys are definitely hands on.
Absolutely.
Wow. So what do we have here before we?
So when we were buying the original location, my best friend's wife was like, "Listen, we've been buying these for Med Express for a year now. Red velvet with cream cheese is the go-to."
Yeah.
So we do our red velvet. We do different cakes, various flavors. The founder's favorite is a old fashioned, with a nice cup of coffee. It doesn't get much better than that. But the yeast donuts are a process. Takes rising, takes proofing, takes delicate care.
Right.
It's a process, man. But our bakers are trained well. They do it well. Yeah, they're
it's like art. Like I'm really looking at how do you even eat this? So I definitely I have a thing for donut, but not only that, Tori's son, we have this thing with donuts. Like we're trying to find different donut shops, and it's like they're all different.
They are.
There's nothing like Jupiter Donuts.
Well, thanks, man. Well,
I can tell you that with facts, like there's nothing like Jupiter. I think you guys take the creative to another level, but not only that, the quality's still good.
Oh yeah,
you guys don't miss. Like there's not a donut you miss because your base is strong. Even the old fashioned donut, like everything about Jupiter Donut is just you guys take things to another level, and the product is like I'm literally looking at it like it's art. Like I'm scared to eat it. Like it's just like
no, we encourage you eating it, man. But we appreciate the feedback. We think we do a great job. We got a great product.
Job, man.
But even more so, I think we got great people working behind us too.
Well, how could they get to how could they follow more about you, Adam, and Jupiter Donuts? Let people know, please.
So all of our stores are on social media, Instagram, Facebook. We have JupiterDonuts.com that you can catch us on. You can do online ordering coming up next week on JupiterDonuts.com. I'm on social media, Adam R. Jones, Doughboy Jonesy on Instagram. That's where you can find me there.
Man, I'm proud of you, brother. I know there's going to be a lot of more success with you. And I want to really sit down and see how we could build something.
Absolutely.
I think I want us, with both of our passion, I think we could build a great product. I don't know what it is yet, but I really want to really take that. I'm dead serious about it.
Absolutely.
Something in food and beverage. So
I mean it when I say, you need people who are like-minded to bounce ideas off of
100%
to keep you going in what you're doing.
So but thank you, man.
Yeah.
You're amazing.
I appreciate it, man. Thanks for having me. Yeah. Appreciate you guys.
All right.